Hey guys, this is Alex.
Colin. Matt.
And this week on episode 9 of Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, we discuss NXT's live debut on the USA Network. What were the ups? What were the downs? Of course, there's going to be a lot more ups than downs. That we get to our dead guy in the envelope this week, or a dead woman in the envelope this week. And of course, we have our list rankings. That and more on Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, episode 9.
All right, Colin. You think the Giants are going to win tomorrow?
Canceled football.
You are now an XFL fan. New York Guardians all the way.
Guardians.
That's right.
Cowboys are playing the Dolphins, so that's a free pass for us.
Wow. I don't even know who I'm playing tomorrow. You probably know more. My fantasy team is fucked. Everything's fucked. I have Antonio Brown, and then I was like, all right, I'm not going to start him game one. And then fucking he gets picked up by the Pats. I'm like, yo, sick. Put him on. He scores a touchdown, gets some yards. I'm like, fuck yeah. We got like 19 points. Then the Pats drop him. Like, you fucking kidding me, bro? James Conner's hurt. I'm like, bro.
I can't cancel football.
Yo, Robinson, the running back on the Chiefs who I had, done. He's out. My quarterback was like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold has like fucking the kissing fucking sickness mono. Like, come on, bro.
I think I opened up Pandora's box for Colin. He's all pissed off.
Yeah,
the guy's got mono.
Ask Matt. Last Sunday, when I just sat on the couch and watched football, and I was just fucking either screaming at the TV or I wouldn't say anything for a half hour, and he looked by, he goes, wow, you're really mad, huh? And I was like, fuck. Yo, fuck. We went from shitty football to shitty Clash of Champions. I was like, bro, I could have been sleeping or watching AAA Invades New York and, like, been happy.
And then GTA wasn't working either.
Oh, and GTA was crashing every fucking 5 seconds.
I was going to say it kept crashing.
Yeah, it hasn't today, but it... Yeah.
So Colin didn't have a good Sunday.
No, last Sunday was tight. Tomorrow better make up for it.
But we had a pretty good week of wrestling, you know, aside from Clash of Champions and Monday Night Raw.
That is true, yeah. I think it was weird. I mean, I know you guys were kind of talking a lot about Clash of Champions, and kind of like I saw a lot of kind of mixed reviews on the internet because I kind of skimmed over it, and I just didn't really know what to go on about it. But I don't know. It was it's been an eventful week for sure. I mean, I think the biggest thing to start off with would probably have to be NXT, if anything. I mean, their debut comes out and high praises. I mean, if any, which is pretty much expected, of course. But this exceeded my expectations, I think. I mean, the only downfall, of course, was the network not working when it went to the second hour. But
which we experienced on this end for like a couple seconds. We switched over. We're like, there's no way they're gonna start a match right away because people are gonna be switching, and it did log us out.
Cleaning up that street fight.
Yeah, it did log us out, and then we were finally able to like log back in, even though it said there was an error, and then all of a sudden we were able to watch it. So it worked for us, and we saw on Twitter that it did not work for a lot of people.
Right, for some people, it didn't work for 45 minutes. Like, it was almost over. I know for you, Alex, you said it was like 45 minutes in. You were like, I just have to start from scratch.
Yeah, no, literally, you guys were talking about the street fight going on, and I was texting you in the group chat, like, don't spoil it. I don't want to know what's going on. You're like, you're still not in. I'm like, nah, I was trying for 45 minutes until I finally got in. I mean, I know one of our favorite Twitter users had the same problem, but...
That's... I kid. I was going to say Led Storm because he did have an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, guys, I mean, what a fucking show. I mean, that first match, just off the bat, I thought was awesome. And before we get into the match card itself, like, even the production seemed a little bit different. It seemed a little bit more polished. I could be wrong, but maybe just because, it's them on an actual network now and everything. But even from the start, I thought it was great.
I love the way the new setup was. Like the ramp, the screen in the back, the way they came out, like all that little change, I thought was really good.
Yeah. No, even the little subtle stuff like that just made it seem like, I don't want to say like a whole new kind of product, but it kind of like it made it feel like you were actually watching. Which I mean, I know the whole thing is like, oh, NXT is the main roster, and I pretty much agree with that statement. But this made it feel like you were watching a main roster show, just from even the slight subtle changes in production alone. But going right into it, I mean, we had that 4-way women's match to determine the number 1 contender for the women's NXT championship, and in my opinion, everyone's gonna. It's between the North American Championship match and this one, but I think this one might have been my match of the night. I mean, because you had high expectations going in. That's the first one on a live at NXT and USA, and this match I gave it a 95 out of 100. I thought it was fucking incredible, and it was fast paced and just great action. And you also saw you had Io Shirai and Candice LeRae who were kind of rivals. They have a storyline going on. Not kind of. They have a storyline going on right now. And then you had Bianca Belair and Mia Yim. I mean, they were on the Takeover pre-show and had matches after that as well. So you had these kind of 2 storylines going on within the ring to make one big one. I thought honestly it was a spectacular match.
I think what I liked about this one was that they started off NXT going right into it. First thing that happens is Io Shirai is coming out, and then during the match, they're putting on their best moves, and everybody I think in that arena and everybody watching at home would have been okay with any of those women winning that match.
Definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
100%. They've all 4 of those women within NXT system have paid their dues to the point where every one of them can be a number 1 contender. And if you think about it, 3 of them already have except Candice LeRae.
I think that was the best part. This one me and Matt were watching. We were goes right into it. They start off with Triple H, then they go right into you hear Io Shirai's music, and she comes right in, running in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, Matt looked at each other, we were like, bro, it's so good. You don't have a shitty promo. You don't have over the top a gimmick. It just got right into it. And that's why I tweeted out on mine and our personal Twitters that Triple H just knew what he was doing, man. He started
Colin, I looked at you and I was like, holy shit. That was fucking live. That wasn't even pre-recorded. When they zoomed in on Triple H's face and then he opened the curtain.
Triple H came right out of Gorilla.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That was really good. He must have done a lot of work.
Think about it. When's the last time? I mean, I'm sure that there has been times in recent times, but I can't think of one off the top of my head where it's been a Raw or SmackDown where the minute it starts, it's let's go a match right away. I mean, I think the last one I can think of is maybe the Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, false count anywhere street fight thing. That when Heyman kind of took over. But I loved it. I thought it was great because, when you watch Raw or SmackDown, you get a half hour. Sometimes, sometimes they'll go through 2 segments and it'll be 9:45 and you haven't even had a fucking match yet. And this was the first, the big one, the big debut on the network for USA Network, and they just went right into it. And they had and I think that was awesome though because there was obviously the more casual SmackDown Raw fans who were like, oh, NXT's part of WWE, I'll check it out. And they went into it, and you saw stuff that these women wouldn't have them do in the main roster. And it was just action. They probably caught so many new fans just from that one match alone.
Oh, definitely. Do you think it was a good idea to start off with Triple H? I know a couple of people talked. They were like, do you start the show with Triple H or do you end the show with Triple H? And personally, for me, I'm so glad they started with Triple H because you need to get that familiarity. I can't speak. What is the word?
Familiarity.
We're all stuck trying to say stuff.
All right,
now.
Good word. They needed to start with Triple H for that old fan or that casual wrestler, maybe somebody who's been tuned out for a while. If you're coming in, you see Triple H, you're like, I know that dude. And you start right.
I know that nose. I've seen that nose before.
Where? All his hair.
Well, it's also kind of a cool thing because I remember when they did the first takeover Brooklyn, where it was the first one in an actual arena and not a Full Sail, and it started off with Triple H, kind of the same way that he did this NXT show where he's like, you wanted the future, we say the future's now, and then he turns the lights on and he's just in the middle of the ring and it's just the whole sold out Barclays Center. So, but I think you have to kind of establish that, what you were saying, Colin, about starting the episode off with him right away, because there's gonna be some people going, oh wait, that's Triple H. I didn't know he was gonna be on here. Oh, he's a part of this. Oh, he runs this. Oh, I didn't know that shit at all. And then it just goes right into it, and you see all these new faces at the same time.
Exactly.
So I think that's a good call. I mean, you got, and that's especially why. I mean, and to touch on it real quick, I know we have this in our notes. Like, Kevin Owens kind of tweeting about going to NXT, and it's been reported that him and Cesaro going. So the thing is that like you're gonna need familiar faces like Triple H to start the the first episode off right off the bat. You're gonna need people like Kevin Owens and Cesaro to get those Raw and SmackDown fans getting going. Oh, why are they on that the third show on the Wednesdays? What's going on over there? And they'll switch over to that. And honestly, when you get fans who don't know what NXT is, maybe like the younger kids, when they see what's going on at NXT, they're gonna be like, dude, fuck that main roster shit. This is what I want to see every week. This is what I want to tune into. This is way better than a 25-minute Bobby Lashley bodybuilding contest. Like
or tug of war or whatever.
Yeah. It's just, it was such a good episode. I mean, there was only out of the let's see how many matches we had here. We had about eight matches. I mean, one of them was a squash match, the Cameron Grimes one, which I thought was kind of cool. I don't know why. It was like the quickest pin I've ever seen.
I turned to Matt and I said it was they kind of took that UFC route with Jorge Masvidal and Ben Askren with one of the fastest knockouts in like 6 seconds because it came up and attacked him with flying knees, and Cameron Grimes just jumped up and then stomped on him. I was like, that's literally what they did. They kind of look like that fight.
Really?
Was great.
Yeah, I think it was awesome. Also used just to kind of showcase this guy Cameron Grimes. Like he was in the what was that tournament called? Breakout tournament.
Breakout.
Yeah, and they're obviously all those individuals from the breakout tournament. They're still using, whether they're in 205 or they're on NXT now, but they clearly want to do something with Cameron Grimes and make him stand out in some way. And I think they just want to at least introduce him to the world with this 6-second match. I mean, it was probably 5 minutes total from entrances and all, but we'll probably see more of him later on.
So yeah, out of all those guys in the breakout tournament, the one. See, I mean, I know that Jordan Miles won, but he never really caught my eye or anything. But that Dexter Loomis guy, I want him back, dude. He was a scary motherfucker. I was like, this guy's bad.
That was the dude with the mustache.
Like the bleached blonde hair and the mustache, and dude, he was fucking
typical. Like you see him on the cover of your Suavecito hair gel with his the old school fighting with his knuckles up.
He's got a pack of smokes in his sleeve.
Old outsider style. It was dope. He was dope. I want to bring up something you said, Alex. You mentioned Kevin Owens and Cesaro possibly coming to NXT. Do you guys think that they need certain talent back on NXT rather than pushing their arsenal of wrestlers that they have now?
Well, they're going to have familiar faces to come back, I think, 100%.
I disagree.
And really?
They need anybody.
That's why I brought it up. Yeah.
I mean, obviously wrestlers are going to want to go back down to, like, not even back down anymore. You can't even call it that. But they're going to want to go back to NXT. Tyler Breeze and Fandango are great examples. And Killian Dane. They did pretty much nothing on the main roster. I mean, Tyler Breeze and Fandango did a little bit, with Breezango and, Fashion Police and all that. But really, they've been way more successful and way more appreciated with an NXT crowd. And I think there are wrestlers that would want to go back, but I don't think NXT at the moment needs to benefit from any of that.
Not big star list guys, at least. Like, you're not going to have Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins. Like, we've talked about it. How big and how stacked, how many people are in the roster that they don't utilize? Like, maybe some of those guys go back.
Like EC3.
There you go.
Fucking send EC3 back right now and let him be the freaking champion for once.
I have a question. Where is
he was in
EC,
he was in a 5-star match.
Where is EC1 and EC2?
One's possibly in the grave, and I don't know about the other.
It was from a YouTube. I think Matt was watching a YouTube clip on that. I forget who.
Dean Ambrose.
Is that? Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? Oh, Dean Ambrose. He was like, "What is 1 and 2?"
Some guy named Dean Ambrose. I don't know who he is.
Who?
I don't know.
He has been around in a while.
I don't know. I feel like he hasn't been around. I feel like I agree with you, Matt, totally. But the thing is that they're gonna have because it's a product. We have to remember that it's a product, and there's still, USA is still taking a gamble for even giving them an hour slot. I mean, obviously, it's not so much a gamble to us wrestling fans, but to USA, who's going, okay, well, this is only on the network for your kind of quote unquote hardcore fans. The casual fans don't really know what NXT really is. So they're gonna have to, push for that viewership. So they're gonna want to get familiar faces like Kevin Owens and Cesaro. But at the same time, I feel like guys like Cesaro and Kevin Owens, or maybe even someone like EC3, would love to go back to NXT. Be like, fuck yes, like I want to go back there. Like this is so much fun. I have so much creative freedom.
I just don't think Kevin Owens would need to at all, or I mean, he might want to, but he's big enough on WWE. He was the Universal Champion at one point. I mean, there's really no need for him to go back.
Especially with like how stacked their roster is already. And on top of it, with the rumor that 205 Live is going to be umbrellaed in, they're going to have so many wrestlers that not next week, but the week after, once Suits is done, and we get the full 2 hours on USA.
Oh,
there's going to be so many. There's going to be so many wrestlers. I have to.
Suits.
Let me just put this out there. I have to stop cursing and saying the F word because my and our biggest fans, my 7 and 6 year old brother and sister, Logan and Alexa, yelled at me. They said I'm in trouble because I used the F word too much last episode.
Oh. Colin.
So
Colin.
I will
so
I will cut out. I will try stop cursing in this episode a little bit. We might have to cut out that Giants in my last Sunday because I think I got a little heated to start it off.
No,
I will say, getting back to NXT, I will say one thing I really liked about what they showed on USA was that Velveteen Roderick Strong match, because they are showcasing how much that title, the North American title, means, or North American Championship means in NXT. And I thought I thought they did a really good job projecting that, and showing how happy Roderick Strong was when he had that, and how excited Undisputed Era was, and even everybody in the crowd was going crazy. So if you were watching on TV and you saw someone win that championship, you're like, okay, that must be a pretty prestigious title on this promotion, and we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there.
It's not like what the Intercontinental title is now. I mean, it became like a meh title with even with Shinsuke holding the belt. But you're right, like it makes it seem like it's such a prestigious title, and obviously we're not getting a full 2 hours yet. But for them to put that as to close out the first hour was such a smart move, and I totally forgot about that. Because I thought it was going to be like the full 2 hours on USA, and then maybe the second hour goes to the network. But I when they were like, oh yeah, we're done by, we'll see you on the network, I was like, wait, what? I'm like, I thought it was a full 2 hours, and I realized, oh, that stupid ass show Suits. But I thought it was
Suits
like
such
a good way to close it out. What is that? What
Suits?
is Suits?
I think I watched it I had to watch it with like one of my ex-girlfriends, and I remember liking it.
No, it's probably Travis. You watched it with Travis.
Not an ex-girlfriend.
Well, it sucked because when I was trying to get the network up, and it kept saying error and all that, so I kept going to where the live stream was for where I watched it on USA, but whoever was doing the stream on Reddit didn't switch over to their network, so it was just kept playing Suits on the live stream, and everyone's just in the chat like, fucking put the network on, like they're just going off on
That's
it.
great.
But yeah, you're so right, Matt, about making it a prestigious title. And I mean, it's weird because I always like the North American title in NXT at first. What is this? Oh, never mind. Getting a pop-up ad real quick. But no, it's weird because I always thought the North American Championship was a great title. But the thing is that when, even with Adam Cole kind of kicking it off as the first champion and everything, I don't know why, but it wasn't until the Velveteen Dream kind of made that title. And he's held onto that title and worked his ass off to do it. And then for them to go to USA and make that, I think it's I don't want to say a stamp of approval, but they pretty much solidified, like, this is a very, prestigious title, and like, this is what you're going to get every single week. And, kind of setting it up for success within them on USA with that title.
I think they've done a pretty good job of like setting up everything as a stipulation match so far. I know they can only do it for so long, but we had the Fatal 4-Way match. You have the North American title match, the street fight on the network, which they'll have a rematch again in another street fight, this time deciding who's going to face Adam Cole for the NXT title, which is pretty cool.
It's a number one contenders
I
match?
didn't know that. That's what the stipulation.
That's what I believe that's what they are promoting.
Jamie, pull that shit up.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. But anyway, I mean, I thought NXT was pretty phenomenal this entire time. Like, I had a lot of fun watching NXT on Wednesday, more than I had fun watching anything up until, SmackDown was good. I agree, SmackDown was good, but SmackDown was awesome Sunday and Monday, I was pretty much let down. And once Tuesday came around, I was like, all right, good. And then NXT, I was like, yeah, that's actually really good. Like, it's really nice to watch that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I remember when they WWE posted a video of them going off the air, and it kind of Triple H had, kind of addressing the crowd like, "Oh, wasn't that awesome?" And he was saying, "You're going to see this every single Wednesday. Like, this is exactly the type of stuff you're going to get. Like, there will not be a dull moment." And obviously, they're going to have to keep up with the fire that they got lit under their ass and everything because of AEW coming up, and the Wednesday Night Wars are pretty much it's a war. It's a war.
Yeah.
Are you talking about when Triple H was in the crowd with them?
Yeah,
it was so cool. I was like, damn. I thought it was cool when the Street Profits came up to me, Matt, and our friend Higgins. But if I was there and Triple H came in my row, you're fanboying.
You'd be hyped. Yeah. Because he you know what I feel like is, I remember watching, well, not what I feel, I know is, he's such a fan of the business. Like, he is a fan. He is like those people that he's hanging out with in the crowd in that video. Because even when I was watching his documentary on the network, he says all the time when he was in the Clique, he's like, yeah, like most guys would drive in cars and just want to get, go to a bar, go to a strip club, or go to the hotel and sleep. He's like, what we did was like, he said we would watch WCW and stuff and like critique and be like, let's try this. Like, they would just talk about the business. So he is a fan. So for him to come out and address that crowd is it's super important to, like, kind of have that personal kind of feeling, because I'm sure a lot of people, it's good because of this. Think about it like this. Vince McMahon said he was going to be really involved with this new NXT, and everyone was very, very worried. I mean, I've touched on it how many times with you guys. Like, this might be awful. I'm trying not to swear. I almost swear, but I'm thinking about what you said.
I appreciate it.
but yeah, it made me less, I don't want to say nervous, but it kind of was that very personal feeling when he came out and addressed that crowd. Because it's kind of him being like, I got this, don't worry about it. Definitely. I'm still the captain of this I'm still the captain of this ship, and you are NXT with us.
That's me and Matt. I think we said it. I think it had to be either one of the best days we were watching old WWE videos on the network, and you're like, Triple H has been there through it all, through the Monday Night Wars. He never jumped ship to WCW. DX kind of brought everybody back with their antics. Him obviously on the tank charging WCW. So like, he's been through it. So who better than him? Especially Shawn Michaels is involved with NXT and Road Dogg, I believe, whoever else. It's like, yo, you have like the best guys, just let them do it. And I don't think they're going to fail, dude. They didn't fail you once. They're not going to fail you again.
I think Vince McMahon kind of probably has the feeling now of like, it's kind of a set it and forget it. I don't want to use that term, but it's kind of true. It's just kind of like, hey, let us take care of it. It's cool. And these three guys that are running NXT are and making this product what it is now in the USA Network. These are the guys that kept him in business and carried him through those Monday Night 100%. Wars. So, and it's even in the video. Triple H pretty much touches on AEW because he says to the crowd, he goes, if I'm going to be in a foxhole in a war, which is kind of, call back to the Monday Night Wars and now the Wednesday Night Wars, he points to the crowd and goes, I want all you in that foxhole with me.
That's great.
And it's just like even right now, I got chills when I was watching that video. And I was just like, dude, like, this is so,
what was the thing he wrote on Twitter, Matt? TFMF?
Triple H did.
Oh yeah,
and everybody was like, "Oh, what does that mean?"
FTMF hashtag FTMF.
And what was it again? I forget.
Follow that, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Whoa!
So he had a big tweet, blah blah blah, sentence, and followed off with FTMF. And people were like, "Oh, follow that motherfucker, follow that, my friends." No matter what, like, yo, he basically said the ball's in your court.
It would have been awesome if fucking MJF quoted him and just went off on him.
Yeah, he said, this is more specifically what he said. You only get one chance to make a first impression. Couldn't be more proud. Hashtag FTMF.
So good.
So
just short and sweet and just so powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
and then
that speaks to.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that really speaks to it. I mean, we have it right here. For their debut, they had NXT on USA had 1.1 million viewers and was ranked number 4 in the cable top 150 for the 18 to 49-year-old demographic. Just to put that in comparison for other people, Monday Night Raw, which has been on for about as long as I've been alive, 27 years, I believe, 26. Raw had 2.2 million. SmackDown had 2 million. You have the first ever show on a network, and you have about half, a little over half of what your main two pull.
Yeah.
That's awesome, bro. That's a huge dub.
And what's funny is I was thinking to myself, I've always loved the NXT brand. And especially, with Triple H saying every single week is going to be exactly like this. Or, obviously different, but like that kind of level of excitement, you know what I mean? And it's funny because I'm not more of an AEW guy, but I love AEW's products they're putting out. I love the Elite and all that. But what's funny is the whole time when this Monday Night Wars thing came up, or excuse me, Wednesday Night Wars, I was like, damn, I'm probably gonna watch AEW and I'll watch NXT after. I'm very invested in AEW and what I want to see what they can do. But after this show, like, I'm gonna have to be channel switching because I'm just like, dude, I don't want, because it's one of the, even as a wrestling fan, like, you can watch a memorable moment and see it on Twitter, I'm like, oh damn, I'm gonna have to watch it when I get home. But you don't want to miss it live.
How
you see something.
How are you guys gonna decide? How are we, all three of us, as HTRW, how are we all gonna decide which one we watch live and which one we have to DVR?
We don't need to in 2019. We do it all the time, Colin. We watch UFC. We got baseball.
Yeah, but this is so different. You can't. You got to be able to pay attention in promos and actually listening. You can't picture this.
Whenever MJF's on, I'm watching AEW.
Oh, I know on the second we're 100% watching AEW because we're going to be there. But
and then we already said, Alex. We said today, yesterday. We're like, we're probably going to want to go out once the premiere's over in DC. And we're like, honestly, I just want to go back to the Airbnb and I have to watch NXT and see what happened.
NXT. You should just bring an iPad and watch it with the crowd. Just set it up
in the arena.
That's what some guy was doing. A row and a seat over at Takeover 25 for me. He was watching Takeover on his phone with headphones on so he could listen to the commentary, but he wasn't looking at the ring.
A lot of people do that. That goes back to, like, what's his name? Steve Bartman in the Cubs. The guy who.
Well, I know people do it at baseball games. They listen to the AM radio.
You mean the guy that, like, grabbed the ball or whatever and made them lose? That's right, yeah.
From the city, he was known for, he would always sit in the same seat with a lot of people. Matt was right, they do. I just hit my mic. Damn.
I totally forgot about that because I know a lot of baseball people do that. They'll listen to AM and stuff.
But as far as streaming stuff at other events, I definitely do that all the time. I've been at a Ranger game because hockey obviously is starting soon. Well, it's starting now. We're in preseason. And you're getting into the postseason or coming up on the postseason of MLB. And I've been at a Ranger game in Madison Square Garden, and I had the Yankees, like, playoff game on my lap. So, like, and like, Alex, you saw it when we were at Raw and Matt, that as soon as we knew that the Yankees eliminated Boston, what did everybody start chanting at, like, 10:30 p.m.?
Sucks.
Like, let's go, Yankees. Because there's somebody there watching, or you have updates on your phone.
I just remember when they started doing the wave and I was joining in, and Colin was like all drunk. He goes, "Don't fucking do it."
No, people, you
I was like, why? Come on.
I mean, I guess if you're like for you, it was your first time there. We don't do the wave.
I just thought it
you're
was
too-
an
you're
insult
too-
to the wrestlers in the ring. So
Wow.
What match was that during?
I think
Who
it was.
It was pretty early on, right?
I don't
I
even
honestly
remember.
don't even remember that Raw.
There's
It was a good birthday, huh?
all I,
Matt goes, bro, I bought you Nutella balls and I broke my keto diet. And I was like, Nutella balls? When the hell did we eat those, dude?
yeah, dude, you don't remember
No.
that? Yeah, because you had like, dude.
So-
I just remember that one chant I got going on for that kid. That was awful. We won't
No,
repeat what the
no,
chant
okay.
was.
I
but
gotta
Thank God
keep
it was
my
off
job
the
in
air.
the morning.
we
Yeah.
can
my
keep
day job
talking.
going.
We can keep talking about NXT probably for another hour or so. But what I want to segue into is Kenny Omega's comments on
Oh,
NXT.
yes.
And
Dude, shots
Colin
fired.
and I had a discussion about it, and we think that it's probably just a work, right? Because he said that all the people on NXT, they would all be in my dark matches on AEW, and we listen to Busted Open pretty much every day. And Mark Henry was like, if I saw Kenny Omega, he better watch himself. Like I'd take him out or something.
He said there would have to be cops there because we're getting into a fight.
Yeah.
Are you
And,
serious? He said that,
Yo,
Mark Henry?
Yeah, dude.
He was Mark Henry was
Something
actually
along
really
those
insulted
lines.
about it, and we think it's kind of a work because obviously you just named some of the top people on NXT, and Kenny Omega has worked with them before, and you can't say that Adam Cole would be in a dark match on AEW and not be in potentially one of the main events or hold a
Especially, they were-
prestigious
No,
title
exactly.
over
They were
there.
in the Bullet Club together. I mean,
Yeah. But Kenny's the one that took him out too. Or it was Marty. No, it was Marty. Yeah, that's the thing is that like I felt like it was such a work. It was a kind of a fun kind of taking shots at each other because even the Bucks had an interview. Or not an interview. They had kind of a segment with SCU. It's called like wrestlers ordering room service, and they just like, kind of sit down with other wrestlers and eat food and talk. And it was a good episode. And they were talking about like we're friends with a lot of those guys in those companies. So I kind of feel like Kenny Omega feels the same way. It's just I felt like it was such a work, but then you had like people from NXT kind of quoting his tweets. And like what's that guy's name? The guy who was going against Keith Lee.
Donovan to
Di-
joke.
Di-
Yeah, he did. He got pissed.
Yeah, he got heated. He was like, he quoted it and was like, next week, like you'll see me like taking on Keith Lee for like the third time or the second time or whatever it was. And yeah, a lot of people were getting pissed off at it. But I kind of feel like it was definitely a work and fun at the same time. But
Kenny
you're gonna
kayfabe.
Kenny kayfabe. I think we're gonna see a lot more of these though, especially once AEW kind of starts up. But the question is, is this a bad thing or a good thing for these companies to do? Because I personally feel like it's as fun as it is to see and listen to the shots being fired. Kind of wish these companies sometimes would just stick to their own product. It does get fun, but sometimes it's like, all right, like come on, man, like take it, like the whole Cody Rhodes with the Throne Breaker shirt. I'm just like,
That's a
that was a
very
cool-
good question that you just said, because if
Yeah.
people go back and if you have the network, they have that little docuseries on the Monday Night Wars, and me and Matt, we've all talked about it. I think one of the downfalls of a lot of people is once you could see it once, if it was Vince or if it was Bischoff, if you recognize your competition, that kind of makes us as fans kind of go towards what you're talking shit on, right? Eric Bischoff
Yeah.
says, "Oh, Mick Foley is going to win the championship tonight. Huh, that guy could never win a championship here, or whatever." So everybody, what happened? It backfired on him. Everybody went over to WWF to go watch him win the title.
Oh God, yeah. I think they said like 600,000 people switched
Yeah.
instantly.
So when you like on Twitter is kind of different. If they're doing it on air, we have to really see once they're on back to back or neck and neck. If they're doing it
Yeah.
like that, you're gonna kind of push people in a different direction. It could work in your favor and it could not. I mean,
Yeah. No, I it's just sometimes I feel like they can, especially AEW, can kind of go a little bit too overboard, but it's also at the same time a good thing. I mean, what do you think, Matt? I mean, I kind of think they should just stick to their own kind of products for at least a little bit, kind of focus on it, instead of just taking shots at each other all the time.
I think Impact went really negative when they, Impact's failure, more than just their insults that they did to WWE in the beginning. Obviously, Impact had really good talent, but they would take jabs at WWE all the time. And WWE, I mean, look and see who was more successful in the end. And half those people, majority actually, I would say, from the beginning of Impact, eventually ended up in WWE anyway. But I definitely do think that you need to focus on what you have now, build your storylines and your stories, and make it set apart from WWE. Let NXT try to compete with you, and then if you make subtle jabs at each other every now and then because the timing is right, then that's okay. A little follow that kind of comments or thing. I think you have to have people monitoring NXT in the back just to see what they're doing, the same way that they did in the Attitude Era when they were watching Nitro. They do their match, they go back and they watch Nitro just to see what the other company's doing, to see, what could we do better than them? How can we be more successful to them? And I think that a healthy competition makes all of us wrestling fans happy. Obviously, Vince McMahon is going to want no competition at all, but we know that WWE is going to do really good when there's competition faced with them. So, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the first year. I just want to see. I just want to see what they're going to do, and I'm more concerned about AEW taking jabs than I am WWE. I don't think WWE is going to even acknowledge them.
Well, it's also at the same time WWE is established. They're part of pop culture history. They're set. They're never going to go away. And that's the thing, is that you look at someone like kind of like Impact or even WCW when they were taking all those, like, as whenever they could get a jab in, they got a jab in, even when it's like, hey man, it's not necessary now. And look what happened to those companies.
Exactly.
So that's why I kind of think about it. And as it's there's sometimes, like, even at Double or Nothing, when I saw that throne come out and Brandy Rhodes gave Cody the sledgehammer, I was like, this is so goddamn awesome. This is so cool. But then they came out with the shirt, and I was like, all right, it's a little bit of an overkill, whatever. But then it was like, there's just been little jabs here and there. And I agree with you, man. I'm more concerned for AEW doing it. It's like, hey, like, you guys got to establish yourself first. It goes back, around where I live, it's going to sound like a funny saying, but it's kind of true, is you don't let that bulldog mouth run that puppy dog ass. Like, it's such a stupid saying, but it's true. Like, you can't have a big mouth and not back. You can't. That's what a lot of people say right before they get into bar fights down the street.
They use it in one of the Jackass movies. I think me and all my friends
that's why
all the time.
That's why when I saw that movie, I was like, damn, I think I was like 12 when that came. I was like, damn, he must have lived in Connecticut or something. But no, it's one of the things where I think about that, and it's kind of true. It's like, hey, why don't you solidify yourself first before you kind of want to go off and claim you're the better product? Because it's just right now it's a great product, but it's just an alternative. So, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts on it. And it's still fun to see, like, even Kenny Omega doing this.
I mean, I was just looking, and Kenny Omega really only. I mean, I haven't looked at all of Twitter because that's just way too much fucking time on my hands that I don't have. Kenny Omega only went at Donovan, it looks like, because a fan, if I can get back to it.
He replied to Donovan?
He replied to Donovan with that 50 Cent pulling up in a car, rolling his eyes at him and taking off. So that's like a cheap shot at Donovan. But then this random fan tags Matt Riddle in Kenny Omega's tweet, and he goes, Kenny Omega's totally right, guys. Like, you are a dark match trash being shown on national TV, and that is embarrassing. And then Kenny goes back and quotes that kid and goes, no, he isn't. I love Matt. We bros, exceptions to every rule statement. So, like, you're throwing shots, but then you're saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
you're throwing shots, but then you're backtracking on your word.
Yeah, it's so, I don't even know. So kind of as we wind down with the news right here, this is a story that we were mentioning, Colin, before we started recording, that I really want to get a quick wrap up on and hear the details of this. So David Benoit obviously the son of the late Chris Benoit, wants to join AEW. But you were telling me something, and I kind of want to hear why he wants to join because you told me something interesting about it. But at the same time, you said that he's not allowed backstage at WWE shows.
I got this from Pro Wrestling Sheet. This was just published today on the 21st. It doesn't really go into much. It says Dave he'd like to join All Elite. I guess he sat down with a podcast with former WWE star Darren Young or Ross.
Yeah, Darren Young.
Okay, so in there, Benoit touches on it. You know, he trained with Lance Storm, and then he said, "I'm just messing around in the ring right now with a couple of guys from AEW." And then he didn't get into specifics on who he's working with, but it said he has a close relationship with Jericho. He's been at Double or Nothing and All Out, and he's actually had gear made for when he debuts somewhere. Going past that, it says, "I want to go to AEW 100%. I love AEW. I love what they do for the boys. Take care of them." So that's kind of right there. You're like, all right, is that a shot at WWE? And then it touches on, it says, additionally, Benoit, he's been at many WWE shows, and it says he's no longer allowed backstage at their events. And he doesn't explain why, but it says the last time he attended one of their events was in March, but while he was there, he was wearing an AEW jacket.
Ooh.
There's only maybe 3 jackets, and I wonder which one it was. Maybe it's the one that I have.
Or maybe it's the one that, yeah.
That Twitter user has.
Oh, Jesus. That Twitter user.
I mean, look, if he's good, then there's no reason why someone wouldn't want to sign him.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really it. I mean, just because of his name, I'm not gonna,
But what is we gotta get more info on that as it comes out. Obviously, it was just posted today.
Yeah.
But to be no longer allowed backstage at their events after you were allowed backstage, right? That speaks a lot to
for
who you are.
Years.
To then take that away.
Kind of like treated like royalty in a weird way if you think about it. Because obviously anything Benoit, WWE sweeps under the rug as quick as possible, and I'm sure they kind of kept him like, oh no, we remember him growing up and everything, and it's kind of bittersweet kind of to have him around and stuff. But I didn't know that when he was wearing an AEW jacket. That takes balls, dude.
That's dope though. He's probably like putting his finger up to him. He's like, yeah, screw you, take this, watch this. That's dope. That's cool.
Yeah. So wrapping up the news, guys. Anything we want to touch on really quick?
I put something in. It was just about Impact moving to Access TV. I know you and Matt and Alex were just talking about Impact. I never really watched Impact. What was it? It was TNA, right? Yeah, so I never watched it, but
I've always tried. And I don't know why I just never could watch Impact. And
it used to be awful.
I know they had really good matches and everything too. I just remember it would be on and I would try to watch it and I just couldn't. I don't know why. And then I go back and watch the WWE Raw and I was like, and that just speaks to me, maybe just being a WWE kind of person, and maybe I'm familiar with the way they do things. And I remember me and Colin, we talk about the Monday Night Wars, and we watched the Monday Night War series on the network. And I remember a lot of the things that happened around 97, and I don't remember anything from WCW because I just didn't watch it. And we go back sometimes and we watch those episodes from the same date that a Raw happened, and we're like, no wonder why we were watching Raw. But
yeah, especially like that 1999 2000s like WCW.
Yeah, I don't know why I never could get into Impact. And
we'll have to see though, because look, didn't we? I think we listened to the Sammy Callahan interview together. And I was like, yo, this dude.
That was on Busted Open?
He was dope. I was like, obviously I hear his name everywhere. I've never watched him wrestle. But just some of those names, Sammy Callahan, Tessa Blanchard, Tommy Dreamer.
Tessa, yeah.
I mean,
from what I've been hearing, Impact nowadays is really, really good. Like that, and it's their Bound for Glories apparently are so good nowadays because they're going to smaller venues too, so it kind of has that really cool hardcore indie feel. But yeah, I remember when it came, when I remember watching the first ever TNA pay-per-view when I was a kid on pay-per-view because it was like a $10 pay-per-view or something, and I was like, oh, it's kind of cool, and I was a big wrestling fan, so I ordered, and it was great, and the ring was different and everything, but then it got so bad. It got awful, especially when Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash were trying to run the whole thing, and it was just like WCW version 2. It was awful. But nowadays I'm hearing it's awesome. And you were mentioning, Colin, that also, so it's Impact's going to Access, and that includes New Japan and anybody else?
New Japan is on Access right now. They don't know if that means Impact is going to be working with New Japan or if New Japan is going to be kind of moving towards off of that network. They don't know when their contract's up with them. But right now, I just realized the other day I have Access TV in my Spectrum account, and I get Lucha Underground, New Japan, Impact will be coming, and they even played AAA invading Madison Square Garden just yesterday. Me and Matt watched. So I was like, I'm gonna be if I'm not working or doing errands, I'm gonna be watching Access or USA or TNT. It's crazy.
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
the only reason I really want to watch Impact is because they have one of my favorite things that I don't get to see ever, and that's intergender matches.
That is true, yeah, and that's going to be on an actual network, not just a pay-per-view or anything. So that'll be a lot of fun to see. And then to wrap it up real quick, guys, with two more stories. As we know, AEW's Dynamite premiere. Now we have a name. The name has been announced. It is Wednesday Night Dynamite or AEW Dynamite. Their premiere is going up against the MLB Wild Card. So that means Colin's going to have his phone pulled up when he's in the arena watching the Wild Card.
You know what? I probably won't because the Yankees already won the AL East pennant. So.
Yeah, I know. I vlogged into Twitter this morning, and all I saw was your retweets, and I was like, shit. And I just threw my phone and went back to bed.
First time in years, dude. I was stoked. I made Matt turn it on. We streamed it as soon as we got back from the gym, and he was just sitting there rolling his eyes. He was like, the Mets are only 3.5 games behind wild card, right? I'm like, dude,
I can only
let me have this, bro. Let me have this.
You have it all the time. I only had it in,
not winning the pennant, dude. Not winning the pennant.
Jewels are about to be banned. We got to give Colin
World Series
something.
Rings do you have?
A lot.
Exactly.
About the same age I am right now.
Are you serious? 27 rings?
Going for 28, bro.
And then, and then going to our last news story, the WWE Draft will take place on 10/11. That is October 11th. On the episode of SmackDown, and then following into Monday Night Raw that coming Monday. But the good news about this is the wild card rule is officially done. After this, it is over, and we are going to get exclusive brands, which is going to be awesome because that means Survivor Series is going to be exciting. Raw versus SmackDown. Hopefully, an NXT match gets involved in there somehow because that would be awesome to see.
Man, hopefully there's a 4 horsewoman match. That's what I want to see. Hopefully Ronda Rousey comes back in time for that.
Oh my God! Has there ever been an episode where Matt hasn't brought up Ronda Rousey?
Yeah.
I swear.
I don't think.
I don't give a damn about my reputation.
I just want her to come back so I could hear him stop talking about when is she gonna come back, dude?
She's not coming back. That finger injury, she's not coming back for Survivor Series.
All right. Well, it is time.
Uh-oh.
It is that time
Whoa.
to move along.
Got a little chilly.
It's actually really freaking hot in the Northeast this last final day of summer. But
I got my air conditioner on right now, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
we are moving on to Dead Guy in an Envelope. All right, so the purpose of this is not to insult any of the people who have passed away, but we're going to highlight some of the things they've done. And I'm going to give these guys a few clues. All right, 3 of them. They get a shot at each clue to guess who it is. And then we'll see who wins.
I'm cashing in my rematch clause right now.
I will give you
a
advantage. It is a female woman.
Oh, dead girl in the envelope.
All right. You ready for the first clue?
Yes, sir.
All right. On January 8th, 2006, at New Year's Revolution, kind of wish I brought that pay-per-view back, she won the first ever bra and panties gauntlet match by being the final wrestler left still wearing her clothes.
Still wearing her clothes.
Oh, I know. I have a name, but I don't. I know. Oh, I think I know it. I just don't know.
I think
She
I
just.
do too.
I think she just recently passed away.
Can I go before Alex says it because I want my throne back? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah. just
Ashley Massaro.
All right, you got it.
Did I get it?
First
That's what I was
clue.
gonna
I had
say.
to. I was
you
like,
dick.
Alex is getting too close.
Oh,
All right, well,
yeah, dude.
congratulations.
Very, very short dead girl in the envelope this week.
Yeah.
I'm so
Oh,
stoked
dude,
to
I just-
have my fucking crown back, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh,
kids.
shut
I
up.
wanted to
For a
be
second.
different, you know. I wanted to switch it up and have a woman represented this time. And I'll read the rest of my
Yeah,
clues.
definitely. Keep going.
This way,
That's
people know
Yeah,
some
do
of the stuff
that.
that she's done. She was
I would have gotten it if I didn't say, "Oh, she just recently passed away." That gave Colin it right away, right?
Yeah.
there. I know it. So give us some more facts about her, man.
all right. So so she's born Ashley Marie Massaro. She actually used her real name in wrestling. She was born in Babylon, New York. All right, so
Shout out
Long
Long
Island
Island.
represent. She was firstly incorporated into the Raw
Yeah.
brand. All right, so back when Raw and SmackDown were really split, and she first wrestled a feud against Vince's Devils, a villainous female stable. She also aligned herself with Trish Stratus in the process to defeat that team. During her tenure in WWE, she had appeared on covers of several magazines, including the 2007 April issue of Playboy. She's also been featured in Survivor. She's a model and an actor or actress. And she's also one of the she was one of the hosts on 94.3 The Shark in Long Island, New York.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, you guys got your hometown girl right there, man. That's
And
awesome.
yeah, like Alex said, she unfortunately died this year, May 16th, 2019 in Smithtown, New York. And we know that was a lot of things going on with her, and she probably could have used a little bit more help. And we hope that wrestlers, not just wrestlers, but people who need mental health and mental help from other individuals can get that they need. I know, one person that comes back to mind for me is, Kaz XL, Big Cass. He's have a lot of issues, and I hope that he gets the help that he needs so that, we're not talking about him one day like this.
Yeah.
But rest in peace, Ashley. Congratulations, Colin.
Rest in peace.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh God, what's Colin gonna choose next week? That's what
Oh
I'm
man, I gotta go. I might go somebody that like I didn't know too much about, so I think I could start learning more as we do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's always good too. Like that's what I did with the Owen Hart
Mhm.
one. It's because I didn't. I mean, I know who
But we
Owen
were- we
Hart
were
is,
so
but I
young.
never. Yeah, we were. That's the thing is, I always would see him on TV, but I never really, It's not like I went to like his chronicles on the network or
Yeah.
anything. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna choose him and kind of, bring up some facts and
Yeah,
stuff.
you
so
could have
that's why I
gave me
did
an easy
that.
one. Like, he was the only white guy in the Nation of Domination. I would have been like, Owen Hart. Got it.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen because I know you would have gotten that right away. Or you could just be like, X-Pac's dressed in blackface.
Oh my
This
god,
is awful.
Ms.
All
Ark.
right, guys.
At least Mark Henry liked it. So
Mark Henry did think it was pretty fucking funny.
Wait, so going back real quick, I don't mean to dive back into it, but so Mark Henry said about Kenny Omega, he said there's going to be cops around. Is that what
Something
he
to
said?
the lines of that. I don't want to start. Next thing is, we're gonna be listening on Monday. Mark Henry's gonna go, this goddamn
You know
shitty
what?
podcast on the East Coast said that I'm gonna assault somebody. Like, I don't know what he.
well, Mark
actually
Henry,
said. It was
Mark
something
Henry
like
won't
that.
be able to respond for about 2 weeks because he is actually recording
Oh,
or
this is true.
acting in a TV show with the Big Show on Netflix this whole week coming up. So he won't be able he won't be able to talk.
I could just see him right now, like, you know what? This loudmouth from fucking Long Island. Just
It
going
was
off on
Zack
you.
Ryder, not me.
Yeah. Zack Ryder. All right, guys. Well, if Mark Henry could hear this and be mad, I think what happens if Jericho is this bad? I think Kenny Omega would make the list. I think it's time to go to our list right now for our Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast, the top 10 list. This is where we kind of compile our top 10 list collectively and kind of run down of our favorite wrestlers and performers of the week.
You just made the list!
Starting right off, we usually have, 3 slots open. We each kind of individually choose who we want. And right off that number 10, we have Matt's pick for Charlotte.
Climbing to the top.
Oh, wait a minute.
Seen this before. Charlotte Flair up to the top turnbuckle. And the moonsault takes out Bayley and Banks.
I think Charlotte, especially on Tuesday, came out really strong in her match against Sasha Banks. And even though, she had the interference from Bayley, which ended up being a DQ match, and she had help from Carmella, overall, Charlotte in the ring is just proving over and over and over again that she is the best female wrestler alive today. And honestly, I think as long as she stays healthy, I mean, even if her career ended now, I think she goes down in history as one of the greatest, if not the greatest performer in the female division.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember SmackDown was awesome this week. I actually really enjoyed it, and that match particularly was.
I don't see
so
her
cool.
not having the women's championship again in the future, especially with the move to Fox. But yes, I think Charlotte, once again, just proving that she's the best in the world at what she does.
Is she better than Ronda Rousey?
Ooh, I love it.
Ronda Rousey's not here right now, so she can't, she can't back up anything.
She was, though, at one point. So what do you think?
Yo, this is great. I love whatever's going on right now. I'm sitting back. I got my popcorn popped. I think that was one of the best things I've ever heard Alex say since I met him.
Well, honestly, I'd like to know, do you think she's better than Ronda Rousey? Who are you a fan of more?
Ronda Rousey.
Wow.
I think
really?
Ronda Rousey is a natural performer in the ring. Her judo background, her UFC background highlights her ability to perform in the ring. Ronda Rousey sells like no other female can in the ring, and she dominates like no one else can.
Damn, he just gave the best Wikipedia write-up ever right there.
Sells like no
I agree with
other female has before.
This summer.
I don't care. I don't care about her
Sunday,
last two
Sunday.
UFC fights. I still think obviously she's in the UFC Hall of Fame. She's definitely an overall fantastic athlete in general.
I won't lie. I loved her as a performer when she was, had that whole year run, especially when she started up at WrestleMania. Like when she got that tag in and came right in and just did the somersault right away. I was like, I remember being on the edge of my bed, like, holy shit, dude! Like she's actually like really, really good. So definitely
She beat up Triple H. I mean, come on.
She beat up Triple H. All right, so going on to number 9, we have Colin's pick at Cain Velasquez.
He's shaking his head like, yeah, man, let's do this. Look at that. Pinwheel from Velasquez using the ropes of momentum. Handspring. Oh, modification on a lethal injection. Cain Velasquez continues to evolve. Wow, out of nowhere.
Take it away. I know you said he was at AAA this weekend, right?
Yes, it was actually on the same time, a little earlier than Clash of Champions. It was AAA's Invading New York. And actually, me and Matt last night, we were just staying in, drinking a little bit at home. We were like, oh, what are we going to watch? We're going through some YouTube videos, stuff on the network. And then I found out on my Spectrum that Access TV was replaying AAA Invading New York. So I was like, oh, damn, dude, we got to watch this. And it actually was just at his match. It was Cain Velasquez, Brian Cage, the Impact World Champion, and Psycho Clown. And they beat Texano Jr. and Black Taurus and Rey Scorpion. And I think the biggest part that I wanted to put him on here is because we all watched Triple Mania, and we were like, where Cain made his debut, and he was awesome. This, even though I didn't get to see the full match, from everything I've heard, videos, they say he really is just high flying. I mean, he won the match with a springboard cutter on Taurus, and then pinned him. It was just like, dude, he's really good at what he does, and I know he said he wants to wrestle for WWE. He could go to AEW, wherever he is. I think he's pretty good. So I think we gotta really be on the lookout for him, especially when you're going into other indie promotions. I mean, this list is only going to grow every week because we have AEW coming on TV. We have WWE. everything. So I mean, you really got to look out and see where all this talent is going to come out. I think this list is going to get harder and harder as we do it each week. I mean, it was hard. It was hard alone just with the debut of NXT. We were all sitting here before we're filming for you guys, and we all looked and we're like, God damn, our lists are all so different. But it's the beauty of it.
It's all across the board.
Collective, like we can each.
Now, go ahead.
Just all collective. We can each show like I know you didn't watch AAA Invade New York, right? So now,
no, not
me
yet.
telling you all this might make you want to go, oh shit, maybe I could look that up. I want to see more, you know. So I think it's cool, especially if anybody, whoever's listening, and they haven't watched it, definitely go out there and check out some YouTube highlights, or if you have Access TV, see if it's going to be playing anytime soon.
Well, it's funny because after we record this, I was planning on just probably popping in a movie that I haven't seen yet. And now that I just remembered I haven't watched The Invades New York yet for AAA, so now I know what I'm doing with my time after. Was it in the main arena of Madison Square Garden, or was it in the theater?
It was in the Hulu Theater, which, as somebody from New York who's been to Madison Square Garden, I have a bunch of times. I have no idea where that is.
Is it like in the
honestly, I couldn't tell you. I think somewhere I saw it on their Wikipedia that the Hulu Theater only seats 5,000 people. But if you watch it, you're like, where the hell did they do it? Because they have the ring, they have the walkout, they have their Titantron. So I don't know if that's just what they nickname the arena for the night. Because even one of the trainers did a little quick promo.
It was called the Hulu Theater.
Hulu Theater.
Is that what it is?
Even one of the trainers goes for a little promo. He goes, we haven't been back to AAA hasn't been back to Madison Square Garden in 25 years. And I was thinking, I was like, if the last time AAA was at Madison Square Garden when I was 2, I was like, who the hell was their talent then? That Madison Square Garden was so high on them coming there. And they sold it out. Like, that's awesome. Madison Square Garden has been sold out by Ring of Honor, Impact, AAA. Wrestling, we're in a great time right now, man.
And it's so cool because even though it's in the theater part, it's still MSG if you think about it. It's still that, Manhattan wrestling show. And it's cool because, for so long, I mean, MSG's always been WWE's kind of home turf. And, they started going to the Barclays Center more and everything. So now it's so cool to see other promotions, even if it's in the theater or not, have a wrestling show at MSG. Like when that, Ring of Honor, New Japan one went down in the main arena, I was like, this is so fucking cool.
I think that sold out in a day, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it sold out. Yeah, it sold out in exactly, I think, like a couple hours.
Crazy.
You just there was lines around the block all around 7th, just waiting to get tickets.
That's honestly, as somebody who's come back into wrestling, that's mind blowing. That is so good, and that just speaks so many volumes to where we're at right now.
And it's funny because I think right now as wrestling fans, and I'll go on the record of saying this, and if someone disagrees with me, oh well, but I think I speak for us, especially right now, all three of us, that we are in the best timeline to be a fan. There's just so many exciting and so many different. If you don't like one thing, you got it's like a Baskin Robbins of wrestling right now. If you think about it, there's all 31 flavors, baby. It's like you don't like that sample, go to the next one. Oh, that one's awesome. Let me get a double scoop of Ring of Honor. Like that's exactly what it is.
You could have went with Dr. Pepper because they're made of 23 flavors.
Oh, that's true.
I like the. Baskin
I do too. I'm not gonna shoot you down. That was.
All right, so going on to number, I just look at you smiling right now, like you should have gone with the Dr. Pepper. So going on to number 8, guys, is my pick. I had him on my own personal list. I had him at number 2 just because I haven't seen him in a match in so long. We have Lio Rush.
Larkin was looking for the blockbuster. Rush was lying in wait. Can Rush do it?
Rush looking for the Dragon's Call. The split leg frog splash was covered. Lio Rush is the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight title.
Here is your winner, Lio Rush.
Don't call it a comeback.
Going back to NXT, I know Triple H was at a press conference call after saying this has been in the works for a long time. Obviously, we haven't seen Lio Rush since he was the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley, which I don't want to talk about. It was awful. But
you don't like the Lashley.
No,
his little laugh, whatever.
Yeah, well, do that laugh again. You could audition for the Joker with that, man. But him going against Oni Lorcan. Obviously, I'm a huge Oni Lorcan fan, or his actual name Biff Busick, because that's what he should be called, not Oni. I don't know what that's all about, but I still love the guy. But Lio Rush's match was awesome. It was so cool to see him in the ring competing, not doing any promos, nothing. He came out to a good reception too, and he killed it. He was absolutely fantastic. He was excellent. He couldn't have had a better in-ring return. I think it's even better to have him in NXT than it is to have him on their main roster.
I like that he didn't even say anything, no promo. Literally just came back and was like, I'm in this match and I'm going to put on a show. And he was, like you said, great in the ring. Wasn't, I don't know if he's been wrestling in dark matches or not, but man, he did not miss a beat.
No, there was actually really good spots from him, and I gotta put him on that list just because it's just, man, he was so good. It impressed me a lot too, because when he was on the main roster, he would have never made a top 10 of mine ever, and for him to come back, and it's gonna be interesting to see him as the number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship now, because we'll see where this kind of goes with it. But
yeah, see whether or not 205 remains post Tuesdays or on Tuesday. Who knows what's going to happen with 205? And I feel like maybe the move to SmackDown on Fridays might change that, which is why we might see more people on NXT now.
Yeah, I'd say get rid of 205 as a show and just put the Cruiserweight title in NXT.
I agree.
Keep it.
A lot of people agree with us on that. Because Matt, whoever put out that tweet on the Cruiserweight title, all blacked out for the NXT look.
Oh, I think that was Matt,
That got like over 120 likes. People love that. I looked at it and I was like, that got sick.
Yeah, and the thing is that, like, I don't want to say the Cruiserweight title has been disrespected in WWE, but I don't take it that serious. I mean, but I do at the same time. Like sometimes. Oh, goddamn right, dude. I would have bought a replica belt. Are you kidding me? But I don't know. Like, I don't feel like it's as prestigious as it was kind of, with the Cruiserweight Classic and everything. It was really promising to see, and now it's kind of like, I don't know. The performers are so good, but it just feels like, WWE does not just give a shit at all about their product when it comes to that title. So now I just hope it goes to NXT. They give it the respect it deserves. I mean, these guys can put on Match of the Year candidates. We all know that. So that's just my kind of thoughts on it. But yeah, number 8, Lio Rush, for sure. And then going on to, number 7. I think this is the segment right after, Walter and Imperium.
We are Imperium. And to us, this mat is sacred. We are here to restore the honor and tradition of our sport. And from this day forth, those who disrespect the tradition, their time shall be spent answering to the Ring General.
Kind of debuting, coming into NXT from the UK, of course, Walter being the NXT UK champion. This was awesome. It's so funny because the crowd was cheering for Walter even before he came out because Imperium's there and everything, and everyone's waiting to see if he's going to do anything. And then for him to attack Matt Riddle during that street fight too, I was like, that was... Out of that whole brawl, I was kind of confused on it, and I let it settle, sit for me, and I love the street fight now. But that spot when he got him in that headlock just proved how dominant he was about disrespect. He did the whole, we're here to, punish anyone who disrespects this ring or this sport. And to see, Matt Riddle and Killian Dane just, having just a street fight going at it, not being professional. He played up to his character. Right
I hope that Walter has got the sky miles for going back and forth between Orlando and the UK. But I mean, all the people on NXT UK, and I think this answers some of those questions that fans have, fans like you and me and people on Twitter that we associate with and communicate with. But whether or not NXT UK is going to be on NXT Live sometimes, and it looks like it will be. We'll have some people, and we'll see what happens with the We'll see what happens with the NXT UK show by itself.
Well, how about this? Walter said in that promo, he said he would restore honor to wrestling, and anyone who disrespects the mat will answer to that group. And I've heard it on multiple different outlets. Do you think they're setting up for the Imperium versus Undisputed Era?
War Games.
Well, like
that would be so.
I got chills. I was the one who
cool.
I was the one who said it.
Dude, I didn't even think about that.
It was on Twitter, I think. Maybe somebody called in and I heard it. But once they said that, I was like, dude. And dude, I've never watched a War Game. So if that was to happen, I would.
Did you just hear me? I'm like, War Games. Dude, that's so true. I can't. Wow.
I'm not trying to take away any limelight from Kushida, who interrupted. Big props. Throw out. Kushida could be an honorable mention on the list this week. Because I know Alex, I think we were talking when me and Matt were watching 205 Live for probably only like my third time ever. I texted you guys. I was like, dude, Kushida, they buried him. We were like, yo, it's gonna happen. Kushida's gonna get kicked off of NXT. And look, that's what happened. They put him on 205 Live, and then they make him the one come out and go after him, really stand up for NXT US, going against the NXT UK guys in Imperium and Walter.
And that's interesting. I didn't even think about it in that sense. I just thought about it as two different factions. I didn't even think about it as the NXT in the United States versus the NXT in UK. And that's a cool way to perceive that.
Wow, that's what I'm saying. This is one of the greatest times for wrestling right now.
Dude, yeah. It's funny because out of all the products you can watch and everything, I don't. Even though we're a wrestling podcast, I love the WWE. I've grown up with it for most, if not all, my entire life. Now it's just like the Raw and SmackDowns. I'm like, yeah, I'll catch that later. But NXT, AEW, all this stuff now, and even now the NXT UK though, that Takeover Cardiff that we watched in the middle of the day when we were setting everything up for the live stream. It's like, dude, I don't want to say I don't care about Raw and SmackDown. They're very important to me and near to my heart, but it's like, man, now it's like NXT on Wednesdays. It's like, it's the the must see out of all the products with AEW at the same time, of course. So it's so exciting to see it, especially, it is cool for like us wrestling fans to see people from NXT UK come down to like kind of make appearances and stuff like that. And Pete Dunne debuting too.
I was in the kitchen. I think I was probably making food or making protein shake. Me and Matt were making it, and I was like, yo. I like tapped him real quick. I was like, Imperium just came out. And we're still like, all right, it's just Imperium. It's not Walter. We're not going to go run to the couch. And all of a sudden you hear all of full set, Walter. Yeah. And then he comes out. I grab Matt. I was like, yo, we got to run back to the couch and see what the hell's going on. Like, that just speaks volumes. Like you said, that's must-see TV. It's
like I was saying earlier, you can DVR something, but now it's like people are going to be flipping after seeing this episode. You got to flip the channels now, man, because you don't want to miss it live. You want to watch those moments as they happen and pop yourself, when you're at home. So it was oh God, it was such a good first episode. Like, I can't stress that enough. It's so good. But moving on within that episode, we have Candice LeRae making our list.
Yeah, I'm now putting LeRae in the electric chair. Poison Rana by Candice LeRae. LeRae springboard into the top Rana. Crashes down on the rib cage of him. Hemp LeRae. Hemp LeRae.
Candice LeRae.
And just like that, LeRae becomes the #1 contender for the NXT Women's title, and she will get her first opportunity at challenging Shayna Baszler in a title match.
I agree, Candice LeRae on this list, absolutely. But you know what? We got to give props to those other three girls too. Again,
absolutely,
because that was the best. I couldn't think of a better scenario or a better match to kick it off. And especially giving the women a chance to kind of go out there, the whole, women's revolution that's going on within wrestling right now. And it was just awesome. And she definitely deserves this to be on this list for sure. But I'm kind of wondering, do you think they can build a strong program with her and Shayna Baszler?
That's a good question, because at first, I think I wrote it on Twitter for those who follow me. that I wasn't really ever sold on Candice LeRae.
Neither am I. Yeah.
I know, Alex, we've agreed on it. Obviously, Io Shirai, I was very heavy on since I went to TakeOver. Loved Bianca Belair and Mia Yim. I think they had a dark match. It was like, so I knew all three of those, and Candice LeRae came out at that TakeOver. But I was like, I didn't see much from her. And then just this match, I was like, God damn, she put it all out there. All the, you know what I'm saying? It's just, so I think they can. I would have liked Rhea Ripley more, but that's just me.
Yeah, and I think that is what's going to happen in the future. I think, they introduced Rhea Ripley. She has a little bit of a segment with Shayna Baszler, but now Candice LeRae has the number one contender match. And I feel like they have to somehow get Rhea Ripley in there to have a match against Shayna Baszler, to dethrone Shayna Baszler. I don't know if it's going to be
triple threat.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's going to be Candice LeRae one-on-one. Something's going to happen. I just can't see her. The way that Shayna Baszler tears through everybody else on the roster.
There's no character investment. Yeah, I think the thing with Candice LeRae for me is there's no character investment with her. It's just white meat baby face, good, great in the ring, absolutely fantastic in the ring, but there's no character investment for me. Like I like the character investment, so that's why I'm hoping they don't take the easy route of like, the 4 horsewomen just beat up Candice LeRae all the time, and Candice LeRae comes back from it all and everything. Like I want to see like some actual good storylines written for this, because this could be a really good program they can build up, absolutely. But for me, I need to see more character investment with Candice LeRae.
Especially they go against Baszler and her cronies.
I think, that's what I think we're going to see the match between Shayna Baszler and Candice LeRae. But I definitely think that Rhea Ripley has got to get thrown in there. I mean, she was the NXT UK Women's Champion for a very long time.
Yeah.
And
I think I agree with that too.
If you just look at them, Rhea Ripley is pretty tall. She's fucking jacked. She looks like she can be an actual threat to Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. That's the whole thing, is when she kind of, came up to NXT and was like threatening Shayna Baszler, I was like, dude, like that's like, I don't want to say the other women weren't, intimidating enough or anything to go against Shayna Baszler, but Shayna Baszler's built herself up as like this ultimate kind of woman heel of like, no one can stop me, I'm on this streak. And now I kind of, when Rhea Ripley came into the picture, I was like, that's the girl that's
immediately what you felt when she came out and interrupted her. Rather than
so that's why
was lost to her, Bianca Belair, who I believe is lost to her. I don't think I was watching then, and Mia Yim, who fought. Who did she fight? Io at the last takeover? Not Io. Was it Bianca Belair?
No.
I
don't. No, it was no. Mia Yim went against Shayna Baszler for the title.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
It was, yes. And you like everybody said,
because I remember I gave that a low
and everybody
score.
Said you could see how nervous she was. So I mean, we see where it goes. I think the best part of all 4 women in the Fatal 4-Way match was there was just so many spots. I think a lot of stuff that 1, Clash of Champions, and 2, Monday Night Raw were lacking.
I mean, you never know, though. Maybe Shayna Baszler needs a break, and she has lost before. She lost to Kairi Sane. So, not very long. She won it back pretty quickly, but we'll see where it goes. I think it's an interesting division because there's so much talent in that women's division.
Speaking on that, why is there, because I haven't been watching, you guys have obviously watched longer than me, why is there no women's tag team champions in NXT? Why is that not a belt?
I have no
There's
clue.
Definitely,
I saw someone recently.
There's not enough tag teams.
I definitely saw a tweet or an Instagram post today from somebody in NXT. I forgot who it was. I think it was Chelsea Green, who's like Zack Ryder's fiance, because she's kind of a thing, in a kind of group with Deanna.
VXT.
Yeah, VXT, and like there was a picture that I think it was tonight. I think it was only a couple hours ago. It was like a picture of her and Deanna at some live event, and it said, "Your future NXT tag team champion, women's tag team champion."
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah." So you never know. Maybe they're kind of thinking about it or something. I would like to see it. I think it would be kind of a good. I don't want to use the word developmental title, but think about it. Like, give these like people who maybe don't get, TV taping time or, maybe any of that, kind of have just a tournament just to see what they can do and everything and give them some time to shine and kind of grow his performance. So that might be kind of cool.
I mean, and we don't know whether or not just like the 24/7 title is allegedly going to be defended on all brands. Maybe they can extend the tag team women's title to NXT as well as it becomes a more established.
That would be
brand.
cool, especially if they did unify that one. They didn't unify the men's, but yeah, that would be cool if that could go, like you said, back and forth from promotion to promotion. Even though we haven't seen
absolutely.
the 24/7 championship ever go to 205 or NXT.
Well, we saw your boy win it at MSG.
Enos Cantor. You know what? You were talking about, just real quick, we'll pause the list for a second, because I wanted to say it before when we were doing the news. You said about EC3 going back to NXT. And at 2 house shows over the weekend, he won it twice. He won it in Manila, and he won it in China also, I believe.
Oh, shit. Yeah, they should make that a TV win. 'Cause he was in a 5-star match, dude, in NXT at a takeover. Like, come on. Like, give the guy some, like, he was, like, one of the main players in TNA. We can't get into it. I'm
multi-time
TNA
heavyweight champion, so.
So was Robert.
And so was.
And it's just like.
Well, Joe, he won once, maybe, I think.
Samoa Joe held all the singles men's titles in TNA at one point. There's a picture of him with a belt around his neck and, like, 2 on his, like.
I know Kurt Angle did that, too.
Yeah, he was an absolute monster. So we're halfway down there to the list right now, guys. We have at number 5, we have Brock Lesnar coming back.
My client, Brock Lesnar, hereby challenges you to a match for the WWE Heavyweight Championship of the World on Friday night, October 4th, at the Friday Night SmackDown premiere on Fox.
I accept.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Lesnar F5 to Kofi!
Not a wise decision, Kofi.
To not go against Seth Rollins, no. Picking up to end Kofi Mania at a match at the first ever live SmackDown on Fox. I love it. End Kofi Mania, get it over with. I'm done with it. As much as boring as, Brock's title reign with the Universal Championship has been at times, I love this idea. I want to see it end, and I think there's no better guy to do it. I don't know why. It's just Kofi Mania is so, like, it's not appealing to me, man.
It's not. You could see that. I think that's what the reason they did this is. Fox is so heavy on Brock rather than Kofi.
Yeah.
Because people have said if you went
absolutely.
outside and just like interviewed 10 random people, more people are going to know Brock Lesnar than know Kofi Kingston. So
absolutely.
Fox is definitely giving Brock some heavy money in his deal. That's big money, man. That's one of the top 4 networks. They're giving him money. I think he's gonna be on there, and they've even said it. This is gonna be one of the first time Brock has weekly competed since 2003. I think somebody said, which is like insane to me.
Yeah, when he showed up on SmackDown this past week, I got flashbacks to when I used to watch SmackDown on UPN in 2003 when he was the champ. I don't remember the last time I saw Brock on a SmackDown. It's always been Raw. So to see that, I was like, whoa, wait, what? Like, I thought maybe it was just going to be Paul Heyman coming out intimidating Kofi, and then I saw Brock come out, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is awesome. And I don't think there's any better way to kick off SmackDown on Fox and have
there was no better way to kick off that SmackDown last week than with that. Me and Matt, we were in the kitchen making dinner, And we were like kind of not paying attention. We were like, Matt goes just so predictable. He goes, "Oh, they're gonna start off with the New Day. Watch what happens." You see Kofi come out. He goes, "Yep, I knew it."
Oh, whatever city they were in, don't you dare be sour.
So
Charlotte, they're
we
in
continue
Charlotte.
making our
Charlotte.
dinner. We continue making our dinner, and then the promo ends or the match end. There was Randy Orton and the Revival and the New Day.
They did
And
start
did
with
you
a
hear that
match this
guitar?
time, which was pretty unique.
All
did
you
mention that.
hear is Brock's music, and I turned around. I was like, "Oh shit!" And Matt goes, "SmackDown is already so much better than Raw."
Oh,
Oh,
God,
we're
yeah.
Brock
it was
Lesnar
way
guys,
better.
dude.
I'm a Brock
No,
Lesnar
the
guy. Hell
listeners,
yeah.
we're Brock
dude.
Lesnar guys. That's
They all the marks are
Oh.
freaking out listening.
cancel
right now.
HTR009.
FACRW. You just fucking hate us right now. All right, so going down, we have at number 4, I believe it is. Let me make sure. Yep, at number 4, we have Rowan and Harper.
Oh my God! Rowan just kicked down the barricade from the timekeeper's area.
Rowan's going to use the barricade as a weapon.
At this point, our officials just need to stay away. Just stay away from Harper and Rowan. Oh no! No!
Of course, Luke Harper making his return back to in-ring competition. Overall, I know he put out. He said he asked for his release too a couple months ago, and I guess maybe they kind of worked something out with him. He hasn't re-signed. I know that for sure. But guys, let me get your thoughts on this because obviously this happened at Clash of Champions and everything, and I wasn't watching it live, so you guys had a little bit more of a reaction to this. High up on the list, do you think that they can remain dominant with the fuel and the fire that they have going on from Clash of Champions, though?
I think they can. I mean, I wasn't around when they were the Bludgeon Brothers, so I don't know anything about that time period. But I remember we were sitting down, and I looked at Matt and I said, "Harper's going to come out." And not even 3 seconds later, you see Harper from behind. I don't know if it was a boot or whatever to Roman, and we were like, "Yo, this is sick." Because, like you said, I don't think they didn't grant him his release. He was kind of just like floating in the wind. So like everybody,
They kind of just put him on the
Sitting
shelf.
back getting paid.
But everybody to see him, everybody's so stoked on social media and all those outlets that he came back and his dominance at Clash of Champions, and then his dominance to end SmackDown with when they just absolutely demolished Dan.
Oh yeah, and that SmackDown segment was really awesome, really sick. Even though it was a little predictable, I will say, they're going to do Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Erick Rowan and Luke Harper now, which I think I told Colin that before we started watching it. I was like, that's gonna be the match, and obviously it happened. It seems like it's the route they're going to go. It would be interesting though if Daniel Bryan is still in on the work of what's going on because they once were in the Wyatt family together. It would take a lot to tie it all back together. This was happening years ago, but just I don't know what the overall goal would be though. Just to take out Roman Reigns for no reason, and that's where I feel like it falls a little flat. It's what does Rowan and Harper have against? What do they have against Roman Reigns that Rowan wanted to kill him so bad? Like kill him, wanted to hit him with a car. And
I guess we'll find out. It's all about the storyline progressing and
Definitely.
everything.
I think that's such a Attitude Era-esque storyline. Like you could just see it now. All the times the limo's gone underneath the fucking truck and Stone Cold blowing up DX Express. It's just like so Attitude Era-esque. I mean, look, like what Matt said, how awesome it was. They literally took apart the whole ring. I think Erick Rowan takes one of the pieces from the table and completely threw it, and it cleared the whole ring. I think it almost went into the crowd. You're like, yo, they're rolling back the mat so it's the concrete.
What announcer did they throw on the ground? Tom Mike? He was on he got thrown on the ground, and Corey Graves
Michael Thomas.
Corey Graves had to jump the barrier. I was like, yeah, they're not going to touch him, but I think they took one of the announcers and threw him on the floor. He just lay there for the rest of the segment. It was pretty funny.
the ghost of Rikishi has possessed Rowan. And so going on to from my bad joke to number 3, we have King Baron Corbin.
And Corbin. And the days! Yes! In the end of a magical run for Chad Gable, Baron Corbin is your king of the ring.
Here is your winner, the 2019 King of the Ring, Baron Corbin! Bend the knee, all hail King Corbin!
I think this all kind of started off for me becoming I always liked Baron Corbin a lot in NXT. Then he got to the main roster and I wasn't sure about it. But then to be at MSG and for people to cheer for Baron Corbin and to be there in person, I was like, this is the coolest goddamn thing right now. Like, this is sick. And I think you guys can agree with me on this one. He deserves to be king of the ring. I mean, 100%. The guy has been through that mid card, carrying that mid card, doing the whole Raw GM thing, and probably doing a lot of that, which you probably didn't even like.
Look, man, I tweeted out, how awesome would it be if Baron Corbin actually won the Universal title when he faced Seth Rollins? Like, that would have been sick. That would have been a weird turn of events. It only had to be for like a day, just a pay-per-view, asterisk, whatever. And then, there were definitely heavy favorites to begin with in the King of the Ring tournament, Baron Corbin being one of them. But I think another one was, I probably think that Baron Corbin was the goal overall, but I'm curious of what their goal with Elias was as well. But I think Elias probably would have put over Chad Gable. And I'm hoping that this turns into a storyline with Elias once he returns back from his injury. And Elias comes back like, hey, I never lost. And let me tell you a little song about Baron Corbin. And they have a duel. And they have like a duel for the king of the, long live Elias. Elias is the uncrowned king of the ring. And then Baron Corbin being the king of the ring. They have a nice little feud that can go on for a while with, some jokes. And don't forget, in Providence, Rhode Island, when Elias went, babyface, when he turned from being a heel into, a good guy, he did that against Baron Corbin. So that was cool. And maybe, I just don't know if WWE thinks long-term like that or can go back in history like that, the way that I can just in my head from being at that event. But no doubt, Baron Corbin, he's one of my favorite wrestlers right now. So,
yeah, I think you should follow the subreddit Fantasy Booking. Because you just booked the whole storyline.
It was so good, right?
I know.
Me
The
and
whole
Alex
time I
didn't
didn't even laugh and nothing.
This is really gonna happen.
We're like hashtag Matt
I'm
for
not
creative.
even gonna touch on it because I can't top his.
I mean, just imagine you start whatever Baron Corbin ends up on. We don't know yet with the draft. It could be SmackDown. It could be Raw. He was on both this week, so we'll never know until they do that draft. But just imagine the lights cutting off, and then, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. And then it just comes back, and he's just like, I was taken out of the King of the Ring, and let me tell you a little story about Baron Corbin or something. And, we know that he's good at telling jokes and stuff.
I just figured out what sign I'm bringing to AEW to put on TV. Hashtag Matt Calgary for WWE Creative. I will do that. I'm gonna.
Hey, WWE,
I'm gonna be there alone. Someone's gonna be
November 30th. I'm no longer employed by the U.S. government. So if you need a creative writer, I will do it.
Well, Triple H never got back to you when you sent your resume in.
That is true.
He actually sent your resume into
to
Triple H.
WWE, not Triple H. The joke
it was just a
that
general application.
Triple H will hire him for his personal security.
I carried Triple H's gym bag for him.
He said the Keto Warrior, bro. I can't. That's dope. getting back to
Cali Keto.
Not even Corbin. I think if Elias called himself the Uncrowned King, that would be dope. That is such a cool name,
dude.
And extend it out to fucking WrestleMania to crown the official King of the Ring.
Oh, so that would be cool.
At a WrestleMania match, like that would be pretty cool. But then you have to have another King of the Ring tournament. Hopefully they don't just, abandon it like they have previously. But who knows? There's a lot that can happen. I just wish the best for Elias right now. And definitely Baron Corbin deserved his match, and Chad Gable put on a hell of a show too. I know he was on a couple of our lists, and he definitely deserves to be on the power rankings too. If it wasn't for everybody that's on this list already, he's definitely past number 10 within
he's
number 15.
Like we did with what we did with Kushida. He's an honorable mention for this week.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So then going to number 2, we have, of course, The Fiend.
The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, attacking Demon Cain, the Mandible Claw. Cain is helpless. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, is on Monday Night Raw.
I mean, what more can you say? I mean, him coming back at Clash of Champions, that iconic, still of him on the ramp with Seth Rollins, just like holding his head like the lantern. I mean, it just proves that whenever he shows up, I think he showed up at a house show, either it was last night or the day before as well, with Seth Rollins, and like kind of attacked him at the same time. But it's so, he's such a powerful figure now that he's gonna be in the list a lot when he shows up, I feel like. Because it's just like, dude, when he shows up, it's serious business. And for him to be going to Hell in a Cell against Seth Rollins is gonna, I don't know, I think that's gonna be a great match. I'm looking forward to that a lot. I'm just hoping they can take his character and not just do short-term booking with him, but like actual long-term storylines somehow.
Definitely. I mean, if you watch that full Raw, and me and Matt have said it, and even you, Alex, I think that was probably one of the most boring Raws that I really watched in a while.
Yeah.
Where you see the broadcast was flipped upside down, and then I was like, is there an error or something going on? And you realize that at the end it all came back to the Fiend.
I knew it was.
Even his first
it was
promo,
Bray Wyatt though,
and Seth is in the ring.
I saw people on Twitter like, yo, someone on the production team's getting shit canned tonight because everyone thought it was an error. They worked us hard on that one.
I think I told Colin though, I'm like, I think they're doing that. I think they are doing that on purpose. Like I knew that was something to do with Bray Wyatt, fucking with things or something. And in the end, like they never explained it. We heard Renee say, "Has it been upside down the whole time?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." They actually acknowledged it, and everybody on Twitter is like, "Oh my god, WWE sucks! Like they can't even put their stuff upright." But
wait, so was it the matches? Because I only saw a little bit of Raw, and the replay that I saw, it didn't have nothing was upside down.
It was just a quick, like when they break down everything that's going to happen on Raw tonight.
So Seth Rollins speaks in the morning. Wow. In the beginning, he comes out, he does a promo, he talks about what happened, and he gets done talking, and then they recap. They're talking about what's going to happen on Raw later on, and everything is just upside down.
Were the matches upside down or no?
Just the previews.
Just the preview of the match
okay.
card, basically.
Yeah, like so-and-so is taking on so-and-so presented upside down.
Yeah, because the replay that I watched on one of my services, it's whoever recorded it flipped everything back to the normal because he didn't. Apparently, they thought it was just like an error or something like that. But no, it tied in well. I feel like, and especially, what do you guys feel like? Do you think that this program with Seth Rollins, do you think he should win the title right away though?
Hey, I mean, they did something similar with Cain, and Bray Wyatt's been around for a while. It's not like he is new. He's definitely still, capable of being a world champion. So, Cain being a WWF champion at one point and holding that title, and Austin having a little feud with him, or people like Mankind who, are kind of creepy, and Undertaker even kind of being a little bit mysterious. Why not? And if people are buying it and it works and you have a bunch of feuds, and people want to take on, people are trying to be brave enough to take on the Fiend, and then we get some crazy matches. Like it's just you got to see what's going to happen with Seth Rollins later on, and I hope they don't fucking move Seth Rollins to SmackDown and then have to feud with Brock Lesnar. Like, don't do that to me.
It could be like a long-term thing too, where the Fiend wins and never gets defeated, and then all of a sudden Aleister Black just comes out of nowhere and challenges him
cool.
too.
A lot of people are like hating, like, oh, you can't give him the title right off the bat, but like, why not? He's taken down so many people just in that last 3 minutes of Raw. He takes down Cain, and then he creeps up on Seth, who's so visibly scared that he can't even look at him and turn his head to the right to look at him. He's just shaking. And I was like, that is such a good sell, dude.
It's the same face that Seth Rollins had when his nudes got leaked.
Whoa. Matt is on one. This might be Matt's best episode.
I think Matt is finally getting comfortable being on a podcast, and now he's firing on all cylinders. He's just like, fuck it, I'm going to say whatever I want. All cylinders. I think that with the Fiend, like you said, a lot of people are kind of bitching about it online. They're just like, oh, don't put the title on him so quick and everything. But it's like, dude, if the viewers like it, if it's pushing ticket sales, if it's getting buys for your pay-per-views, if it's getting the viewers.
He's one of the best things the WWE has going for them right now.
Yeah, like if you got a spark to light the whole fire, why you gonna put the spark out? Light that fire and just let it ride out, and hopefully don't just drive.
I want them to fucking build him up so much, and like seriously, please introduce Bo Dallas as his brother and some weird character that's gonna be able to, same way that Kane was introduced for the Undertaker. I don't care, nostalgic, repeating history, do something like that. That's just my opinion.
That would be kind of cool. Like kind of, I'm trying to think though. Could you? Oh, well, he would have to go through like a major transformation, like attire wise and everything, to be like the Fiend's brother. But imagine if he came out like Bo Dallas came out with like the lantern, but it's Bo Dallas's head too, like walking next to the Fiend. That'd be sick.
Cool though at the pay-per-view if he had a bunch of lanterns of everybody he's been taking out, and all their heads just like set up.
Jesus Christ.
Like with lights
I love it,
inside
dude.
of it. Like you got Kane's mask and like
Code Orange playing live.
Oh shit, that would be fucking awesome, man. Dude, Matt, you gotta go on this fantasy booking on subreddit, dude. I'm not even lying. You put this stuff on, you get upvotes up.
They need to hire me.
He said, screw Reddit, dude. I'm going to the top if I'm going anywhere.
The U.S. Navy will no longer employ me post November 30th, 2019.
Look, he's putting himself out there.
It'll just be
right
me
now.
and Alex then. You'll kind of Matt will be our Matt.
I'll have the Sam Roberts deal. I'll be able to still do my day job.
Matt, bro, shout out to Matt Camp, somebody who's very involved with the NFL and fantasy. To him being such a hardcore wrestling fan and it always being known, which I guarantee is not the easiest thing in a world of NFL guys. I mean, if you look at Braun Strowman, who was on MLB, Keith Olbermann was giving him shit. They're like, oh, wrestling's fake. And you're like, what? Like, I didn't actually watch it. I was just going off of what people said.
Keith Olbermann was giving him
Braun
shit?
Strowman was in the box doing, like, MLB commentating with them.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's the wrong guy to say wrestling is fake, dude.
Matt Camp got a job, finally, after all these years with the WWE, so I don't think he can be on Busted Open anymore. I think that's what they were saying. So that's what I was relating. Matt would be our Matt Camp. But like I said,
Matt's like my contract's up November 30th, guys.
But Sam Roberts,
with
not
next?
Sam Wrestling, he's able to hold his podcast and still do the pre-show on pay-per-views and takeovers, and he has a serious show.
That's true.
Well, when he was on Busted Open, I like how Sam Roberts was saying WWE doesn't want him to put people over or like get or no, it's not the term. I guess it was along the lines of like not get too invested. They want a fan's perspective, and that's why they love like not hiring him full time to be there every single day because they want him to come on those pre-shows and have a non-biased like I'm a fan. Here's my perspective.
Something in talent, so I don't think he can be. You're like too involved.
Yeah. Hiring talent.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, to get back to the thing, I just want to say one thing. The WWE has to realize how much traction the Fiend has because just if you go back a couple weeks, we would have never expected to see him at Hell in a Cell. Everybody's first thing was, oh, he'll be at WrestleMania, maybe Aleister Black. And then he just has one promo where he says he's going to fight whoever the winner of Seth and Braun is. And well, it's like he's spoken into his existence. He was like, that segment when he's feeding Vince money, that's basically what he told Vince. He goes, I'm your money maker. I'm at Hell in a Cell. And then now all you see, all Hell in a Cell promos are in the Fiend's font. So it's kind of like, but they took that and
the
they
thing
like,
too is
this
like
is our money maker right now. We're rolling with it.
Hell in a Cell is not even that far away. It's October 6th.
Yeah.
Is it really?
They said
October
it at Clash of
6th?
Champions and Hell in a Cell in 3 weeks. Me and Matt looked at each other. We're like, what the fuck? Already?
We'll be in Florida
Yeah,
still.
that's
We just got to Florida.
I think well, here's another question. Do you think that they're going to put Seth over though?
No, they can't.
No.
You cannot, because, and nothing bad about Seth, but putting Seth over more than he already is, I think would kind of be burying the Fiend.
Yeah,
You
and they don't want
can't.
to do that because it's just they're no, not at all. And then going to our number one on the list for this week of episode 9.
What the hell, Adam Cole?
O'Reilly has the official distraction.
And Adam Cole super kick Velveteen Dream from the top turnbuckle. End of heartache again. Not this way. Not this way.
Come on!
I've done it! Here is your winner and new
NXT North American Champion, Roderick Strong!
With the end of heartache, the heartache has ended for Roderick Strong. Prophecy fulfilled. The Undisputed Era hold all the gold in NXT.
Roderick Strong, baby, the new North American champion. I mean, this guy has been, I think this is his first singles title in WWE too, and it's just well deserved. The guy put on such a great match. I gave it a 94 out of 100. Honorable mention, of course, Velveteen Dream, killing it as always. But Roderick Strong definitely deserving of this. I mean, to get people on that last hour, or excuse me, that last 10 minutes of that match on USA was so good. And anytime the Undisputed Era comes out too, with the whole like trying to do the screw job thing real quick, you're just, because it's the same thing when Gargano did the first takeover that they with Cole, when the Undisputed Era came out, and it was, they tried getting him, and then it was just he beat him off, he got him off him, and it was just awesome. And I think Roderick Strong, this is definitely the start of like his singles. I think like kind of, I don't know how to say this, but kind of like the singles. He's gonna break away from Undisputed Era, I feel like, out of any of them first. And this is kind of his way of like starting to like kind of make a name for himself on his own, even though it's a collective at the same time.
Well,
but
I don't know if every single stable has to have people break away once in a while. Like, this is a good stable. People like them. I enjoy watching them. You enjoy watching everybody in there. I love when you have your friends come to your back and help you out. And me and Colin were talking about this
So
too.
dope.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
Yeah, if I was a wrestler, I would do everything that I can as Colin's friend to make sure that he won his fucking match and won this title.
it's a good friend.
Right? You have to. I think
he would do the same thing for me because we're in the same group. And I think that's the kind of mentality that Undisputed Era has, and I don't want to see them disappear. Same way that the New Day shouldn't disappear, right? Those three guys get along together, and they want to see everybody succeed. And Undisputed Era, right now, they just want everybody to be draped in gold, and the way they celebrated when Roderick Strong won, and they're all happy about it. That's what I enjoy a lot, and I don't want them to add too many people. I don't want them to turn on each other. I don't want it to get NWO like, too many people in it and too many like, oh, we control everything. Like, I don't want that.
But do you think that's what, and we talked about this before, Matt, when you were saying stuff about like the promos that NXT does, and Adam Cole, when he was going up against Gargano, going around to the wrestling school and his parents' pizza place. Do you think that going into the Wednesday Night Wars, it is so good for NXT to have that faction, because remember who's in charge of NXT, who kind of led the Monday Night Wars with DX. He's kind of making Undisputed Era what he was. Now that you have the 4 most powerful guys in your company, like, their promos are going to be off the hook.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's such smart booking at the same time. And I just feel like, if anything, if I could like kind of think about it, I think Roddy Strong out of anybody against that group against Adam Cole would be a great match. If he like ended up like kind of defecting or, you know, breaking away from the group. But for now, I don't want to see that at all. I want to see them be the most powerful faction in pretty much besides the Elite. They're the most. I don't know. They're pretty neck and neck with the Elite as the most, you know, important group in professional wrestling right now.
And I don't want it to get bulletproof, like, you know, Bullet Club. Like, I don't want them to be too many people.
NWO, like,
trying
yeah,
to be cool.
But that could kind of be their,
no,
like,
I totally.
Like I said, they're DX, where it's all 4 of them, and then maybe you have the Elite in AEW. They're kind of trying to be the NWO without like adding all the people, but still, just like, you know who our top 4 is, you know who our top faction is, you know who our top faction is, and it's just the fans' perspective on who's better, and if you were to ever see them go against each other, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like just something to make you really get invested and be like, damn, this is just, like I said, how many times are we going to say this is probably one of the best times to be a wrestling fan?
We'll think about it like this. On Wednesdays now, we're going to have the Elite on one show, and at the same exact time, we're going to have Undisputed Era with all the gold on the other. Like that, this is stuff that a year ago people like us kind of dreamt about. Like, oh, that would be so cool, but we'll never see that. And now it's literally begun. Like, it's already started. Yeah. That to me is just so goddamn cool. But I think that's it, guys, for episode 9 of Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast. That was actually a good one. I enjoyed that a lot. I hope that Matt doesn't cut out us talking about the Giants
Nope.
at the beginning. I actually want him to keep
it's
that.
Not going to get edited at all. Awesome. It's going to get synced up, and that's it.
Love it. As I go make my keto chocolate brownies, we'll get to enjoy some editing. Get this out there for you guys probably early tomorrow morning, so you guys have something to listen to on your Sunday when the Giants are letting not only me but you down as well.
And my Cowboys are whooping the Dolphins' ass.
We can cut that part out, Matt. We're not Cowboy fans.
Shut up.
Hey, it is almost hockey season.
He's from the East Coast. He's a Dallas fan. Get out of here. you and Dave LaGreca and Mark Henry, all right? You know what you could do? You know what you could do? You could take your boot off that you left actually here at Matt's house. You could turn that sideways.
Turn that some bitch sideways.
And you could shove that straight up your candy ass.
What about my coolers?
Oh, those are the garbage, bro. Throw those in the dumpster the minute you left.
Yeah, I gotta order some more Omaha steaks then for my tailgating party. All right, well, everyone, thank you for listening to episode 9 of Hitting the Ropes Wrestling Podcast. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at HTR009 Podcast, and we'll get another episode out for you as quickly as possible. I know we're gonna have, we're gonna try to set up some live streams. We're gonna have to do it on probably Skype still for pay-per-views and stuff like that since Matt's moving to Florida. But we'll keep everyone updated on that. We want to thank everyone for interacting with us lately, and as always, we'll see you next time.
Peace.